Well, it does if you take it out of context. That's talking about where they're at on the immigration issue that bluntly is not a new thing with Eric Adams. And I don't agree with Eric Adams on a number of issues, but his view on immigration is not new and is closer in some ways to the Trump administration than to a lot of the rest of us in New York City. Look, I think the bottom line here is, yes, what happened in Washington, deeply troubling, sends all sorts of dangerous signals. Eric Adams has a chance to put the lie to that by showing independence from the Trump administration.
You think he's going to show independence
now?
Well,
he announced today that they're going to sue the Trump administration on withholding the FEMA funding over the migrant hotels. That's a good start. I think Eric Adams should call him as he sees him. When he agrees with Trump, that's his right as an elected official. When he disagrees, take him on. That's the way he can show that he's doing his job. That's separate from the very valid point you're raising about the Justice Department process itself. We should not be satisfied with. We should see great warning signs in that.
One of those prosecutors who resigned was said that Eric Adams' own lawyers were negotiating in front of her for a quid pro quo deal.
And I can't believe that, honestly.
You don't believe it?
No. I know some of his lawyers. They're very professional people. They're not either immoral enough or stupid enough to negotiate a quid pro quo in front of Justice Department lawyers. That doesn't smell right to me.
And you don't think, knowing that they could file those charges anytime because they're not being dismissed with prejudice, they can still be refiled anytime. You don't think the minute Eric Adams does something that doesn't please the Trump administration, those charges will reappear?
I think that could be a danger, but I don't think it changes the fact he has an obligation as mayor to stand up for the people in New York City and show that that's what his first priority is.
Right.
And if he's innocent, he's innocent.
All right.
Elizabeth, if I can make a point, please. I commend this attorney for resigning. And the reason is because he works for the President of the United States, because the American people hired President Trump to be the leader of the executive branch. And all of the employees of the executive branch, they must be accountable to someone,
yeah, but
not
Steve,
to themselves.
he says that President Trump is that this is unethical. That's why he's resigning. And by the way,
and again,
let me just finish one thing. These people, these prosecutors, these federal prosecutors who resigned, are dyed pure, conservatives. Members of the Federalist Society, clerks to Antonin Scalia, John Roberts, Brett Kavanaugh. Yeah. They were conservative, well-respected prosecutors who all said this stinks.
Elizabeth, if you disagree that vehemently with the president, to whom you answer and are accountable because of the will of the American people, then I think you have an obligation to resign, and I commend him for that. But regarding the tactics here, by the way, this is not unusual for prosecutors to do at all. Even when prosecutors have a defendant who is very clearly guilty, very often they will forego prosecution if there is a higher prosecutorial or law enforcement aim. And in the judgment of the Trump administration, there is a far more important issue of hundreds of thousands, literally hundreds of thousands, of illegal aliens in the New York area, many of whom are known criminals, very, very dangerous people. And the Trump administration has said, we have a higher priority here, and Mayor Adams is willing to assist us in this critical task of safety for the citizens of New York. Therefore, we will forego this prosecution. It's something prosecutors do all the time. Somebody gets a deal because the prosecutors want something more.
Okay, Nomi, I see you shaking here. You got 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Chaotic administration. I mean, this mayor should have been focused on key issues critical to this city in the last 4 years, and instead he's been incredibly distracted by stupid moves, in my opinion, that he has made in terms of who he's chosen as his team, who have also been indicted, and some have pled guilty to corruption.
It feels like one scandal after
one scandal after another. Do I think that he should resign? I think that activists in the city should think very long and hard about that, who are coming together right now and saying he needs to step down, because we do have a mayoral race, and next in line is a person that we've all been protesting who could potentially win, which is Andrew Cuomo, and I don't think it'll be much better.
Very quickly, Mayor de Blasio, do you think that Governor Hochul will pressure him to resign, or tell him he needs to step down? Because there are increasing calls today. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.